For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of a product review video on a brand new awning from Telta. So with me here today, I've got the Telta Pace. So the Telta Pace is actually a poled awning designed for caravans and motorhomes, or camper vans for that matter. It's really designed to be something that's quick, easy to pitch, something that's made in terms of being good quality with good specification, without having to break the bank. And it's very much kind of a gap in kind of Telta's collection in the past, and if we've kind of introduced a really nice solid poled awning for those people who want something that maybe isn't the high-end price point that we've seen with Telta as a brand in general. So the Pace is available in basically 3 different widths. So there's a 260, a 330 and a 390, all of which are 250 deep. So there's standard depth in there. We run with an aluminium frame, so it's aluminium upright poles and side poles, as well as there are 2 bracer poles in the roof section here and here, again just to give that additional bit of strength. The joys used are aluminium, it's real nice strong material, but it helps keep the weight down as well. So the overall pack size, you're looking around about 22 kilograms upwards. But more importantly, because the side panels and the front panels of the Pace completely remove, that minimum weight comes down really quite nicely. So you can probably get it down to, I think it's about 7.8, 8.3 and 8.9 kgs as you go through the range. So again, if you're not got the physical capability of getting up into rail, you just want a bit of an easier life, that's where this comes into its own really. What actually Telta are using is their kind of aerolite fabric. So it's a, thank you very much, it's a polyester ripstop material, so it runs 150 denier, really nice strong material. So that ripstop element to it works really nicely. So again, you've got a reinforcement that if you had a little bit of an issue with a rip or anything, as wear and tear goes on, it remains that point, so it doesn't carry on pulling away. But also gives it, I think, an air of sort of technicalness to it, and certainly the texture fabric is really quite smart as well, I would say that. We've done a separate pitching video, which you can see myself pitch it. I think it took me the best part of about 17 minutes or so with a lot of talking and waffling on. But it gives you a bit more like a tutorial video showing you how it goes up and down. There's obviously big tinted windows in the front and also the side as well, so you get an element of privacy, but still get a great clarity on the outside. And there are kind of traditional kind of caravan or even homely kind of style curtains to get the full privacy when and as you need it. You've got adjustable poles located at the bottom as well, so you are on uneven ground, or even just to take the tension off and adjust it. So that way you can get the ring, basically the bringing pin in the base of the pole. Then you can sort of push it up as well, so that works nicely. Straps on the front here are as standard, so these will directly go out from the front. There are an optional storm straps, which I would highly recommend to brace it across the width. Even though you've got a pole there, structurally you need that extra bit of tension just to kind of give it that full-on, absolute, stability it actually desires. That's pretty robust. So I do say so myself, that's pretty, it's like a drum. That's one thing I was quite surprised actually, because of the nature of how it goes up. Unlike most of the poled awnings, because you feed the pole in externally rather than trying to assemble it internally, it's very easy. All the upright poles are exactly the same in terms of the roof poles. These are all the same, and then you've got 2 braces. So there's not a whole much to it, as you can see from the pitching video. We've got a real kind of smart, like almost PVC bottom base there, so it's nice and hard wearing and easy to clean. Other things to mention as well is you've got height adjustability. So this awning will fit any kind of vehicle, be it a caravan, a motorhome or a camper van. The starts of a connection point of 235 all the way up to 285. What we've got is like a concertina kind of zip, similar to what you see in a suitcase, which sits at the top here. So what you can find is when the zip's fully closed, it'll do 235 to 250. When you open that zip up, it basically drops it down, and then that means it goes from 250 to 265. When you do the third zip, it goes from 265 to 285. So for most people who certainly have caravans, you'll always have that zip zipped up out of the way and then closed, so you haven't got to worry about it. You've got little ventilation points at the top on either side to help circulate airflow. Because it's a polyester fabric, it's not breathable, so you will get condensation in that. It's inevitable really. There are things you can do to obviously help that. One of which would be to keep that open at all times, you can't really shut it. And also there is a mesh side door as well. So you can obviously have this closed like this, or if I unpeg it, because I've gone through the wrong pegging point, you can open that up and roll it back and leave that sort of ventilation part open. The side panels, because they are removable, they also are interchangeable. Now, the joys of this is actually means that you can reposition the side door. So rather than the side door be at the back of the caravan, where you might have the caravan step, by changing this panel in the other side, the door then is at the front, so it creates your little kind of entrance way. So for me, that's what I probably would do, and that way you can leave the front panels in place, get the view on the front out onto the caravan site, and just keep it nice and easy. You've got pegging ladders and pegs come supplied with it as standard, and you also get a draft skirt supplied with it as standard. So things to bear in mind as sort of optional extras would recommend are sort of bread and butter items. You've got storm straps, which I would highly recommend. Some sort of flooring is an optional extra. Wheel arch cover you wanted to as well. And there's some foam pad poles, which we'll come into later on in the video. In fact, actually, let's go to that now. Let's go have a look on inside of the actual Pace and talk through a few more things that has to offer. So now we're inside a Pace, you can probably get a bit more understanding for, and certainly the feel of it itself. So, like I said, even though it's a 2.5 metre depth, it actually feels quite spacious. And unlike most other pole awnings, when you've got this kind of structure where it kind of arcs in from the front, there is actually quite a good amount of space up there. I mean, I'm 6'2", stand up pretty much as close as I can to the panel really without sort of stepping on the actual skirt itself. Also, we've got those sort of tinted windows, so we've got great clarity and great vision out onto the campsite when we need to. But then we've got sort of real nice soft touch cotton kind of curtains, so when you want to kind of get the privacy, you can pull that across, and there's even a clip point down there, which clips onto the base, just to hold that panel nice and tight to the awning. So you just get a proper nice coverage, no little gaps on either side. Now, I'll undo that. Let's pop that back on. So, and then you've got a little retainer as well, so you can just kind of flip that over in there. Now with the panel itself, because you've got essentially 4 zip pullers, you can create a little veranda. So if you want to, you can kind of have the panel come over like so. There is also a veranda pole you can buy. So stitched into the side here is a little lug, and that will actually, the whole one pole you can buy will span the whole length of the front section. So you can do both that with, to give you a bit more stability, but just more bracing. And you can then still tie it on just to kind of keep it neat and tidy. Those are the brace poles, like I said, that come standard with it. You've got adjustable point there to get the extra tension, just to get that roof looking really sharp. Little Velcro tab, so it goes into there, into a little sleeve, a little pocket, so it pops in nice and neatly. There's a little clip located here as well. That is so the same veranda pole you can buy for the front section can also go from a front to rear pole. So it literally can hang down and be for like a hanging rails or drying towels. So again, real nice and flexibility on that side. As we move to seal it against the caravan, more importantly, or the motorhome for that matter, you've got a real nice big foam pad. So foam pads that you can buy additional rear upright poles, something that's going to press this foam pad firmly against the caravan, minimise the draft. So it slots into a point at the top, and then obviously it basically digs into the ground at the bottom, and you can use that as a leverage. There's little Velcro tabs there, just kind of keep it tight to there. Now, if you are in a motorhome and you've got like a wide cassette awning, you basically going to use the 5mm beading. So there's a 5 and 7mm beading on this. So you use a smaller to the beading to feed that into the bottom of the wind down. Now, if the one that's not essentially flush the bodywork and sticks out, your connection point, rather than being against the van, is going to be a bit further forward. So what you can do is that foam pad can almost act like a little door. So rather than it being located there, you can take that up and fill the void up. Hopefully that makes a bit of sense, but I know what I'm talking about. Other things, there are pre-punched holes in here as well, so you can buy little suckers, bits on like limpets, just to kind of seal it additionally against the out. Recommend using them in conjunction with the poles. If you're going to use either or, I would highly recommend the poles over the limpets, just because it takes, well, you've got the foam pad pressed against it. It means you can also orientate it, so if you want to go, you can always buy a puncher and actually go above and beneath a window just to get a bit more seal, but the foam pad has a bit of flexibility with it itself. You have got a little beading on there for like accessories, so you can buy things like storage organisers, which can sort of sit inside the caravan and again make sure you can maximise your internal space. Because again the side panels and front panels are completely removable, you can almost have this as like a gazebo, just a roof section, so it can be kind of multifaceted in that way. And also what you can do is there are a range of sort of mesh doors you can buy for the side. You can, if you're going to want a sleeping annex in, you can buy a sleeping annex as well, so you can sleep 2 people in there or use it for storage. So there are optional extras you can happily look at above and beyond what you see. Carpet is always recommended, I would say as well. But yeah, let's kind of actually get a bit more up close and personal with some of these things we talk about. We'll start, of course, with the apex ventilation point. So we've got that located there. So again, nice bit of airflow helps there. And we can also probably just about see here this zip. So this is the zip. You've got a little point there, which is on the zip puller, just sits underneath. So you can see that's in the corner. But that just opens up, like I say, it's like a suitcase kind of design. Then we've got our storm strap, which we can, special kind of size buckle. Again, you got to buy Teltas because they're a bit unique in that sense. As we come back into the awning, we've got that roof pole which works nicely, and again you've got a small fold of fabric. Now this is just basically where the zips are sort of hidden, and then we've got the foam pad which we mentioned, again the pre-put little holes for limpets, and then we've got 2 points in here to insert the pole, and well actually 1 to be fair, and then that's where the pole would go up and again press that foam pad. There are these little Velcro points here as well, so they are designed that you expand those when you expand the zip on the side. And we've got a little accessory track which I mentioned there as well. But again, it's sort of nice, simple, good sort of size, great sort of height. And actually one thing I will show you is the little lug points. So that, again, that's the point there. There's one on either side for that veranda pole. And then the clips are located there for the pole that goes front to back. And again, it's at the top located there as well. But no, I think it's quite small, compact. Because you've got a choice of the sizes, where it would be a 260 or a 330 as we're here. So look at the front panels, 330 sort of size, good sort of width. Or if you need to go to the 390s, you can pretty much pick and choose however you want it to be. But I think it just sits really well. So you've got the mesh door, so you can also alternate the side door from there over to this side if you really wanted to. I think it's just quite a nice little unit. Something hits the money. What you pay for what you get, for the quality and the materials and the workmanship it puts together. It's kind of simplistic, but that's one of it. I think, if anything, it's part of its overall benefits. It's not overcomplicated. You want something that's going to do for weekends. I think for me as well, if you've got something like a panel van, as I call it, with a sliding door, that's where I think the 330 comes into its own. As long as you've got a 3.5 meter wind down, you can actually open that, and because there's no beams or anything pressing underneath, it will slide open and close in that door. So that's why, again, I think the 330 in particular is one of my favourite models in that little collection. But the 260, I think, having one big panel for a 260, then you have a really nice big window section. We've done a separate video sort of on the whole of Telta's collection, so you have a look at that and look at the difference when we actually move from a 260 to 330 to 390 in the sizing. So that's a really good little thing. We'll put it down here actually to show you. So we'll clip to that next, a bit more up and date. Again, one big panel for the 260, which is really quite nice, and it sits really quite sharply. Bracer poles come in standard and include as well for the front section, so again, just gives you the extra bit of tension. But I think it just looks really quite smart. And then again, you can still zip the side panels out, add annexes to it, so you've got a lot of flexibility. So the Pace itself is available in a 260. We've got the 330 here as well. We move to 2 panels at the front. So we've got that bit there nice and neatly, and then the next model up, which is the 390. So bigger, you can see how when you go through the collections, how they kind of change. Same concept, just in the overall design itself. And you've still got cool things like your ventilation points to pop, draft skirts come included as standard, as well as, you've got ability for hanging lights and things like that. So they really are very, very well thought out. Yeah, so I think you can clearly see a difference, and that nice big panel on 260 works really well. Apologies if it's a bit misbits with the kind of the audio in general, but on the whole, I think Pace is a great little model. It's light, it feels spacious. It's just kind of like it just ticks a box, really. I think you don't really see, and that's one thing I think my favourite point about it actually is you don't really see a pole awning that can fit motorhomes. It's not really on the market. Not having that accessibility of the heights, and also not to the point where it goes at 285. There are some on the market that go to 265, but nothing goes to 285. So if you are that tall, and where you change your vehicle after a few years, you kind of got that safe assurance that it's still going to be fit for what you wanted to do and fit for purpose. So yeah, hopefully it's been helpful. For more information on the Pace in either of the 3 sizes, you can check the link below this video. It'll take you straight through to the website. We've got more information on things like pack sizes, floor dimensions, individual features all listed for you, and also latest pricing offers and bundles deals that we do and all that as well, so you can check that out. And you also have a look at our pitching and packing video we've done, like a tutorial video talking you through how it goes up and how down. But on the whole, hopefully it's been helpful, and we look forward to seeing you again next time in our next Attwoolls Outdoors video review.